From drilling patents to leading one of Asia's top aluminum producers, our guest is the man with metal magic. He is not just the managing director of Hindalco Industries, he is the driving force behind their mega projects. He is a true metal maverick with a global career. Join us to uncover the secrets of success with the man shaping the future of metals. Welcome to Ayaman, Sir, Mr. Satish Pai, Managing Director of Hindalco. Thrilled to have you with us for the Back to School series in association with Ayaman. So, sir, my first question to you would be that you have had a very unique journey. You graduated from IIT Madras and then excelled in your engineering field and mastered management and organizational functioning. How did your time at school in Kolkata and college in Chennai shape your values and aspirations, eventually leading you to the industry?
So I personally think that a lot of the foundational beliefs that I have actually got built during my high school days, because I grew up in Kolkata, and I still think that many of my how should I put it, more socialistic beliefs, even though I am in a capitalistic role now, got built in during that time because I was in Calcutta and I grew up with a lot of people around me who were thinking more about how do you elevate poverty, how do you get more equality, which if you have been in Calcutta, you know that in the school and colleges there, that seems to be quite a lot talked about. So I think that those views on people and how we should take care of the different strata of society, and that there should be more equality and all, got built in me during the school times. I think the times in college were a lot more about how should I say performance, and also performance under pressure, because in the IITs it's very competitive, right? So you are now surrounded by lots of, you may have come from your school thinking you are one of the top students, and then suddenly when you go there you find that there are everyone around you is similar, so it's very competitive. So that's when I got sort of more prepared for the corporate world outside, because that is also competitive. So I think that those 4.5 years in IIT Madras really prepared me for what I'm going to face when I go out. So you sort of learn, you have friends, but then you have to realize that life is also very competitive and you have to excel and you have to stand out. So that was really what I got out of my college days. So as a student in high school, I got a lot of my social beliefs, which I still carry. And then when I went to college, I guess I got prepared for what was going to come after that in the corporate world.
Okay, but so how did it all lead to industry? Like you've had so many, like you've been to IIT and everything. So then how did it eventually make you realize that industry is the thing that I want to go in?
It's not industry is what you go in. You have to realize in the mid 80s, unlike today, there is, you are, when you go to college, at the end of the day, you either go on to higher studies or you go and work somewhere, right? I mean, I at least was not, many of my compatriots went on to do masters and doctorates and became professors, but I did not want that. So I knew I was going to have to go to work. So I got recruited, because in IITs normally you get campus recruiting like many colleges do. So I got recruited as a field engineer to work in a multinational on oil rigs. So I went from college straight to work in an oil rig, and it changed my life.
Great. So my second question to you would be that many individuals find early influences in their educators and mentors. Were there any teachers or role models during your school days who shaped your beliefs and guided your journey towards a political career? And how did their mentorship influence your leadership style today?
See, I think that, all along your development journey, you will have people that you will look up to, people that you will try to copy their characteristics. So it's no different. So when you're in school, I was in St. Lawrence in Calcutta. So I had I remember Father Gomez, who was the sort of principal of the school. He had a lot of influence on us because he spent a lot of time with the kids like us after class in sport, encouraging us to read, do extracurricular activities. So that's why very early on I realized that besides just getting good grades, you need to be having a much more holistic approach to your development. So because of the school, I ended up doing a lot of sport, and which I think helps you in later life management and a lot more than just. So I did sport, I did art. So I think that father and some of my teachers at that time, I remember we had a teacher who was teaching calculus. Now math is either some people love it or some people hate it.
Yeah.
But because the teacher was so good, I fell in love with calculus and math, which is very difficult to say that you love math. There are some people who do. But the teachers play a big role. So if it's a difficult subject but you have a great teacher, it can completely change your perception about. And that was what I found even later on. So the more difficult the situations you are in, then the people around you matter more. So if it's a very easy situation, then it doesn't matter. A lot of you can take it. But when you're in trouble or when you don't know what to do, then having somebody that you trust and is good can really change your life. So, and I remember that my first manager, because I went from IIT straight to Thailand, and I had to go and drive big pickup trucks and go to the oil rig, and I didn't even know how to drive a normal car. And I had this French manager who really took me under his wing. He taught me how to drive. He would go with me on the jobs. So in that first 3 months when I was very shaky and not at all confident about myself, and maybe, if he was not there, if some other manager had been there, maybe I would have, given up that job, come back and done something different. So that one manager at that critical period of time supported me and gave me that confidence. And that has happened to me all through my career.
Yeah.
That I don't know whether it's luck or, providence, but I've always had people that I could tap on and latch on that have helped me at critical time makes difficult decisions. Because the reality is that easy decisions don't take you anywhere. If you take an easy path or you take a comfortable path, then you don't progress in life. So you have to take you have to take risks, in which case you need somebody experienced around you to help you and give you the confidence at that time.
Got it. So, sir, at IIMN, either we are mentors or we are mentored by someone. So, for us, most of us here being mentors and somebody in the process of going to be mentors, what would be that one advice that you would like to give us so that those who are under us are mentored well?
So look, I think that one thing you have to realize, I don't think it's a one-way street. So I don't think you can just be a mentor. You are always mentoring some and being mentored by others or the same person you're mentoring.
Correct.
Right? So I don't think that there's this, I am the guru and you're my, siksha, so I'm just going to impart my knowledge to you downwards. I think there is a lot to learn upwards as well. So the first advice I always give is that you always have to keep an open mind and ready to learn from anyone. So don't think that, I have studied more, so I am at a higher level, so I will be the one to tell you what to do. I learn a lot of things talking to people at all levels of life and in different places. So this mentorship, you have to remember, is a two-way street. So that's my most important advice.
Great.
That learn from who you are mentoring as much as you think you are teaching the person you are mentoring.
Learning is everywhere.
Yes.
So my third question to you is that there is a growing rise in awareness of sustainability and
Yes.
going green. You recently remarked that copper and aluminium demand in India remains strong.
Yes.
How are you in the metals industry trying to do this, and what are some lesser known aspects of the industry that cause roadblocks to the same?
So this is I don't know, I can take half an hour or 1 hour to answer this question on sustainability, but I was recently, in the Unilever conference talking about sustainability, and maybe I'll just summarize to 2
Yes.
points. I think one thing is you have to realize that climate change, environment, decarbonization is a very holistic thing, in the sense that you have to decarbonize, but at the same time you have to make sure that you're not destroying the forests and the biodiversity. You have to make sure that you're not wasting water and water scarcity, which are big things. You have to make sure that you are not generating waste that cannot be recycled and goes to landfills. So there is a lot of aspects to sustainability that you should look at. So, in Hindalco, that's why we have taken a big approach. We have said we are going to get water positive. We have said that we will have zero waste going to landfill. We have said that there will be no net loss of biodiversity in our mining areas. So we have taken a lot of ambitious goals that we are working on. The biggest problem with any metals company in India or any heavy industry in India is power, because majority of the power in India comes from coal. And coal is, from a polluting or a carbon point of view, the worst fuel.
Yeah.
So the biggest challenge we have in India is how do you transition away from coal, which I personally think is going to take a long time, but you have to start. So we have started to work on renewables with storage. So renewables on its own will not work for us, because solar is only there during the daytime. Or today, if you look at the Bombay weather, you're not going to generate much power in this weather. So you need a storage system. So whether it's batteries, whether it's pumped hydro, you need another energy source to complement your renewable. So the biggest challenge we face is in getting that to happen. So we have taken a target that 30% of our energy will be low carbon by 2030. So that's what we are working towards. But it's a question that people have to realize affects all of us, in the sense that it's not just the supply side, it's the demand. So we have to curtail the way we consume, the way we use electricity, the way we use water. All those will contribute. So, like if you go out of your room, we all turn off the lights.
Yeah.
Some people leave it on.
Correct.
Right? So some of these things, your thermostat here, we try to keep at 23, 24. If you keep your AC at 18, you're consuming more electricity, which means more carbon going out. So there's a lot of things that you can do as an individual. And it's not just government or corporates that have to do about the environment. Each one of us has to play a role.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is something correct. Like, it's the small steps that matter at the end of the day.
It all adds up.
Yeah, as we all say, it's the little things.
Yes.
So, sir, my fourth question, that industry and management are not subjects taught at the school level. And very briefly, if at all, you oversee an army of over 1.5 lakh employees. If you could go back to school today, what changes in curriculum would you make to prepare people better for life after school? And how important was extracurricular learning for you? And how did you learn beyond the textbook when you were in school?
So I personally believe that there should be in schools, which in my school did happen, because we had big grounds, and so you have to have a mix of sport, extracurricular activities along with academics. So that balance has to be there. I think that some people do go off on only the academics, because you are in a little bit of a rat race trying to get into, and the danger with that is then you do not develop holistically as a person, and then in future when you are managing many people, you will realize that academics cannot help you. It's the interpersonal skills, it's the teamwork. So in my job, I really am 90% just handling people issues. So the higher you go, the less academics you need and the more people management skills you need. So I think it's very important in a school that there is a good balance of all these things.
Yeah. So like how you mentioned that, academics for some people is, it's there, like
Yes.
you need to be on the top.
Yes.
And for parents, I think it really matters that you get that 100 out of 100. And because at IMN we cover a lot of things, be it, public speaking, be it PR, finance management. So, parents always have this thing of, no, why to do this
Why are you wasting
internship?
your
Yeah,
time?
why are you
Yeah.
wasting your time? So what would you like to say over there? Because I think if this goes out to parents and parents listen to this, so what would you like to tell parents?
I encourage the parents to, so it's a little bit like what I went through in IIT. You have to do well in academics. So it's not that you go and do extracurricular activities and sports and ignore your academics. But whether you come first or whether you come 10th, it does not matter later in life that much. But if you can come 10th and have extracurricular skills of debating or art or drama, or you are playing in the football team, that's a fantastic combination. So I think that I have to be very clear. I think academics is important, but you have to do reasonably well in academics. But if you can do that along with these three, that's the best combination. Because if you just come first in academics and you don't have any of these skills, you will find it later on in life very difficult.
Got it. So as a seasoned leader, you've honed exceptional communication and interpersonal skills. So can you
not have it at the beginning?
Okay. So
That's one thing to note. Communication skills come because of practice. You are not born a great communicator. Let me tell you that. When I first started off, I would stand in front of a group of people. I would get nervous in my stomach. I would get this.
Yeah.
I would start to look at my feet. So it took a while and practice. That's why I say that if you could start to do that very early in life, then later on it will be much more easier. So communication skills need, how should I call it, work. You're not born with them.
So I was coming to that only, like, is there any specific incident or something that happened in life which made you understand that, yeah, now I need to, communicate and I need to develop this skill?
There's no one incident. As you go into corporate life, I mean, the first time I had 5 people working for me and I had to go off on a rig and do a job, I mean, then you quickly realize, then I used to play football. I was the captain of the IT Madras football team. So I knew how to take these people together, motivate them. You have to make them work very hard when they are all tired. So I quickly realized how important those skills were. So as soon as you hit any corporate life or any event like this where you have to manage 20 people and convince them to show up together, or give up something and come on a Saturday, you have to, your influencing skills, your communication skills, you will find are all important today.
Got it.
So it's not one incident. I think this communication, interpersonal skills, which worries me a lot today, because everybody thinks everything can be done online and you can just work on Teams. It doesn't work, I'm telling you.
Yeah. So
You have to know how to manage people in a real physical situation.
So sir, just a follow-up there, because all of us have these big teams that we have to handle on a daily basis. You said that, the important point is to keep the teams together.
Yes.
So you've had such a long career. So is there anything that you would like to advise us to keep the team together and keep the team bonded? And there are times when, for example, I also do not want to work, but I know that this work needs to be done. So how do I make sure that I am motivated and then I get the team to also be motivated to work on it?
See, team dynamics, and everyone follows sports, everyone compares which captain was more effective than the other. So the ideal team and there the leader of the team becomes very important. Is someone who can communicate, motivate, take the decisions when needed, but not look like a dictator. saying that, I am the person, my decision is everything, and if there is success, it's me.
Yeah.
So the way that team leader shares it with the rest will motivate them. So it's very important in any team and any corporate life that you do not think that the world, all successes are yours and all failures are someone else's. It should be the reverse. So you should be able to give credit to your team, because that motivates them. If they know that, the team leader is going to, and if they fail, you support them. So it's not that the first failure you say, tumhare liye hi, we lost the game, so kick the guy out. No, the good captains, you look at Dhoni, and they have stuck through people even when they are going through a very bad patch.
Okay.
So I come back to what I told you at the beginning. You need support, mentors, leaders when you are in tough times. And that is the name for leadership. Leadership is not dealing and managing during good times. Everybody will look good at good times. It's how well you perform when things are bad. That is what defines, I think, a good leader.
Wow, I think that was something that we all need to hear. So, sir, we recently celebrated Teachers' Day, and it is exciting to note that you won the Distinguished Alumni Award from IIT Madras in 2017. Being a good alumnus is step 2 of being a good student. So, what are some of your takeaways from your teachers and mentors? And if you could share an anecdote or two, perhaps on the journey to your patent.
My patent, that's actually a very good example of collaboration. I mean, we had a big team around, and I remember we were in a place called Sugarland, just outside Houston in Texas. And our competition had come up with a drilling technique that was taking us out of business. So I said, we got a lot of people around the table and said, guys, we have to come up with something else. So we spent a day brainstorming with different people. So see, I don't have a patent in my name. It's a patent with the team. So all of us around the table, we spent a day brainstorming. So the message really is that you don't go off into the jungle, sit under a tree and you say, Eureka, I got this fantastic idea and I'm going to write a patent. In corporate life or in most of the things, it doesn't work that way. So you need to have a problem and you need to bring people around the table with different points of views and have this big argument session. And creativity is a lot of conflict. You have to realize that creativity is not something that just happens very nicely. People clash, they argue, and from that something comes out. So that's the other thing that I say, is that you will find that in life, everything with all your friends or teams will not go smoothly. And there will be conflicts. And by the way, there's nothing wrong in conflicts, is the other message I want to give you. Conflicts, if they are managed properly, actually can be very motivating. So sometimes some of the people I've had a lot of arguments with and all, I have had the most respect for. If somebody is there who's always saying yes to you, you quickly realize that that person is not of much use to you in the long run. So it's very important that when you asked about the patent, is that you let people argue, you allow conflicts, but you make sure that nothing gets personal. It should not go off and become a very personal issue. So after the event is over, then everyone should go off together, have a meal together or have something, and then diffuse the whole thing. So that is one of the important lessons I learned with that patent.
Great. So, sir, my next question to you would be that, drawing from your wealth of experience, what advice would you offer today's young students, not here but all around, who aspire to become leaders in industry or other fields? Are there any principles or lessons you wish you had known during your school years that might have shaped you differently?
So look, I was asked this question, I think by, I forget now, I think it was ISP, the management school in Hyderabad. And when I was thinking about what to tell them from all my experience and gyan and all, I realized that my experience is actually outdated and irrelevant to all of you. because the situation that I went through when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s and the world you are in today is very different. So many of the decisions I took or why I took is actually irrelevant to you because the world is very different now. Okay, so I sometimes think that, taking a lot of advice from all very old people, you have to be very careful because what worked for them may not work for you. So that's my first thing. But there is, in my opinion, some things that have not changed, which I'm worried that today is not getting emphasized enough. So in our time, there was mobiles had just come in. We did not spend majority of our waking time watching something on a phone or a TV. We were forced to most of the time go out on the streets and play something and mix with people. I think that if there is one advice that's relevant from there to now is however much the world gets digital and the way AI comes in, the need to interact with people, to motivate people is not going to go away. So work on your interpersonal skills. Don't give that up. Don't reduce relationships to a bunch of texts and WhatsApp and messages. If you lose that ability to connect with people, you will not go far because even today there is still a CEO and a CFO. It's not going to disappear. You're still going to have big companies and Mr. Zuckerberg still has to lead a company and he has to deal with 100,000 employees and take them along. So however good you are on playing with your online stuff, the need to communicate, the need to talk to people, the need to motivate people, the need to handle conflicts between people is not going to go away. So right from the beginning, my advice is don't go off so much to the digital world that you lose touch with the real world. So spend time still doing stuff with your friends, talking with your friends, fighting with your friends, but do stuff that will help you later on in life.
Got it. So I think this part of the questionnaire is something that excites everyone at IIMon. It's called the rapid fire.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a few questions and you need to be very prompt with your response. You don't have time to think. So first one is school.
Great time. Enjoyed myself.
Okay. Favorite school lunch?
Favorite school lunch is a tough one, but the best lunches I had was when I took food from my friends whose mothers gave them better food than mine.
Okay. Favorite subject in school?
Math.
Your everyday mantra?
Go out and give the fullest and the best you can. Otherwise, don't get out of it.
Metals industry?
I think the future of the world is in non-ferrous metals like aluminum and copper and zinc and cobalt.
A guru you fondly remember?
My father Gomes in school and my first manager Patrick, the French guy in my first job.
India?
I think the fantastic future, great potential, we need to realize it, not just talk about it.
Okay. I'm on this organization.
I think that, organizations like this that bring students together from different schools, different backgrounds, is really a fantastic idea because that was the original UN concept as well, where, different countries come together, different points of view. You don't necessarily have to agree with everyone, but it's a forum that allows a diversity of views. So I think it's a great idea.